suffer. They said your suffering was your fault. That's what they said. It's on tape. They said your suffering is your fault. They counted their suffering a real suffering. But they didn't count our suffering a real suffering. And that's 400 years of propaganda. That's 400 years of brainwashing. Oh yeah, this is in here?
War just for me to find peace. Fuck the police, they got the mark of the beast. I'm a 1-2-5, you could see me in the streets. Seen a nigga teach she fell in love with a priest. In a rush for the bread like we ain't got yeast. Putting studs on my garment, now I'm late to the feast. I'm a 1 West nigga, you could check the receipts. Actually where I'm from, so we came from the beast.
My innocence, my shit I was exposed to.
Listen, man, subscribe, YouTube, Instagram. It's Nach TV, man. Knock him out the motherfucking box, man. He's dropping the most exclusive content that brothers all across the earth can hear, man. Nach TV. You ain't subscribed, you ain't a real man.
Stay a couple of days, move in with a family friend. Promises for the first to pay you back on the third. Search for another house, they put our shit on the curb. Never uttered a word.
TV, nigga, we watch Nach TV around this
never there, my pops is a rolling stone. None was ever given, they say you get what you give.
My brother, man.
What I went through.
Listen, one and only. If I could, you tell the people who you are, where you from?
Khan, I am Officer Yashshakar, Ban Yashshakar.
I'm a 1-2-5, you could see me in the streets. Seen a nigga teach she fell in love with a priest. In a rush for the bread like we ain't got yeast. Putting studs on my garment, now I'm late to the feast. I'm a 1 West nigga, you could check the receipts. Ask me where I'm from, son, we came from the east.
Where you from?
I'm from the Rio Grande Valley, El Valle.
Alright, so if I could, man, Yashshakar by Yashshakar, man. Tell the people where you come from, man. What was it like in Rio Grande?
Right, Khan, sir. So I come from Rio Grande Valley, it's Gulf Cartel territory. That's where everything handles. Like all our brothers, blacks, Hispanics, and natives, we grew up in broken homes. My home was no different. I grew up hungry, I grew up homeless. I grew up wearing the same clothes 2-3 years. Damn. You know, out of everything, I had an off and on father. My father also worked for a cartel.
Oh, your pop worked for cartel?
Khan.
Damn, how'd that work?
Well, the brother, he got busted with 46 kilos of cocaine in Corpus Christi.
Damn.
He only lasted 1.5 years in jail, and they shipped us back his body. So that was at a young age. Since then, you know, I mean, my father, you know, we're destroyed because we don't know who we are, and Christianity and Catholicism, it destroyed us. So as it goes by, you know, growing up with a father, he was abusive, he beat me up, beat up my moms and all that, and you know, I wanted to be better than him with everything. Wanted to be a better father, a better fighter, a better drug dealer, a better killer, a better everything. I was gonna be better than him. And he died when I was maybe, I think it's like 18 or so. I was pretty young. But then again, he was never there in my life. And you know, like every brother starts off in the barrios, you know, started off with an eight ball, and you start, you know, doubling it, and that's how we go. Yeah, that's how we keep going. Now, I wasn't any big timer at first, you know, just little 8 balls and QPs, and you know, slanging nicks and dimes and 20s and all that, and just paying enough for the gas and all that.
Right.
But as time progressed, and one of my jobs, I hooked up with a brother. He's from Roma, Texas. And that brother was hooked up with some big timers. So they asked me if I wanted to work. So in one of those moments where I felt the anxiety, I couldn't come up with the bill. By then I was already married, 4 kids, I couldn't pay the light bill. So I decided, hey, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And so we went to Roma, from Roma to McAllen, it's an hour drive long. And I had a little 96 Honda. And I remember these brothers, we went to the spot, they took the Honda, and then they told, it was like a little ranch over there. Told me to pick it up an hour later. So me and the homeboy went, we got it, and they took out the seats, they had some big old blocks, I don't know, like half of my size, big old stacas homes, like pinches cuadros chingones, like hardcore. And I was like, fuck. But you know, you can't, you know, hey, I had to pay my light bill. We don't do this for fun. We do this out of necessity. Because we have to. Because the white man is the goddamn devil and leaves us no choice other than to go against their system. So go against the will of God, against His commandments. And I went off. But like every Christian and Catholic person was, I did the little cross and I prayed to the Lord to let me get away with this. I must have, I don't know, I don't want, so like, so there's a car coming over here. I must have at least shit, at least 1,000 pounds. The trunk was full. Even the passenger seat, it had a big old block half of my size. Had to put the seatbelt on it so it won't fly off and all that.
Damn.
So as I was driving, I did my prayer.
You put the seatbelt on the bundle.
It was a block. I don't want a compressed block.
That's
like
crazy.
Hardcore, sir. So I put the seatbelt in. I started going. There was 2 new trucks, one in front of me, one behind me. And they said if the cops pop up that they were gonna do something, so they get him off my back.
Right.
And sure enough, it happened. State trooper, right behind me. I was like, fuck, this is it.
Right.
And then the state trooper turns on the lights, and I was like, well, that's it. It's over. Us where we're from. I've been a mixed martial artist since I was 19.
So this was in the U.S. or in Mexico?
No, this was in the Rio Grande Valley,
Okay,
U.S.
it was in the US.
Texas,
Okay.
Texas, out of one. So I trained all my life, and for us, most of us, going to prison is like the next step to being a man.
Right.
For us, you have to go to prison. I had to go to prison. I had to be my father. Prison was not gonna kill me like it killed my father.
Right.
And so I trained to fight it. I was a cage fighter for a while as well. But the Lord was merciful with me. That state trooper turned on the lights, and I said, that's it, it's over. I go to the shoulder. The state trooper stops the car right in front of me. Right in front of me. That vato would have been on the 10 o'clock news that day.
Yeah.
But he fucked up. He got the guy right. I know it was the Lord.
Right.
And I wanted to, I was on some suicidal shit. I was angry at the world.
Right.
I hated myself, so I hated everybody.
Right.
Everybody had to feel my pain. Everybody had to feel my anger. I wasn't gonna be victim of the world anymore.
Right.
The world was gonna be my victim, so I was ready for it. So, but the Lord wasn't having it like that. So then, I made it. The cop stopped the guy in front of me. I went. I dropped it off, and it got picked up. And, so then, I told the vatos that, what, I don't want to do it like this no more. You got any other job? And I had 2 storages in the back of my house, big storages and shit. They said, yeah, we need a storage house. So I had my own crew. I had at least 10 vatos, all, dickies and mustard shirt tattoos, pelones, bald-headed vatos.
Right.
And we was all down with it. We had a brotherhood, a worldly brotherhood. It's not like the UPK, the real brotherhood.
Right.
This was a worldly brotherhood where he could be your brother, but you still had to make sure that vato don't stab you in the back. You always had to. And I always kept my family away from everybody. So, yeah, we set up a meeting, and the vatos went over there, scoped out my house. I had 2 big storage rooms, pretty big ones. And they said, all right, let's do this. So, yeah, the next day, a big old van, the vatos called me. Down the street, there was a store. They said, hey, there's a van, this color, in the parking lot. Go pick it up. So me and my homeboy went and picked it up. We dropped it. We went back to my crib, and we started unloading. I'm talking about some big old stacks, like from the floor to here, fat, all ceramic wrap. They all had a code, they all had initials, and they were all weighted out. My job was to reweigh them to make sure that nobody was skimping them out and hold them. So after we unloaded the first van, I called the vato, and he's like, all right, hey, well, there's another van that's already on its way. Go over there and wait for it. We dropped off that van, and then the van got there, and again, we took it over there, but this one had kilos, some kilos. I mean, this shit looked like it was a goddamn movie, Scarface and shit. It was hardcore with it. And we were all strapped, and we were ready just in case of anything went down. So we unloaded it, and again, another one, boom, I hit up the vato, another one, went drop off that one, picked up another one, and again, big old stacks of weed, hardcore, shit. I'm talking about hardcore. My storage room was full. It was full. And then, I was getting paid pretty good, so by the next day, they would call me. Certain merchandise leaves, and certain, then as it leaves, they keep bringing in more. It's like a rotation. It keeps going like that.
Gotcha.
So, and I did that for over a year, working with them. But then it happened. One of my uncles died. That's when the Lord was already reaching out to me. When my uncle died, he was like my pops. He was the same as me. He was working also with the cartel, but with a different group.
Right.
And every time something happened, I would go talk to him. And he was like my pops. He took, with us, blacks, Hispanics, and natives, we all about weed. So we go smoke a blunt and we talk about the problems. He told me how to go about certain situations and all that. So then, once he died, it hit me hard. So I started, this is where everything started fucking up. I started popping Xanax. And I started going on some crazy trips. And one Xanax, it became 3 Xanax, and then 5 Xanax. Then I was popping 11 Xanax a day. 11, and just smoking blunt after blunt. No, hey, where I'm from, it's $1 a gram of weed. So I know there's a lot of brothers that say they would outsmoke me, but where I'm from, it's very, very cheap. So we keep going, and I'm still operating here, but now I'm already going into
$1 a gram is insane.
At Con, sir, that's where everything goes out of one.
Insane.
It goes from the valley, and then it gets shipped up. You got to cross the checkpoint, Falfuria's checkpoint.
You getting around the way you getting a 20 a gram, 25
Right,
a gram. That's crazy.
Hardcore. Out of one.
Insane. But my bad, Slocky, go ahead.
Oh, we good out of one. So then I'm over here popping pills, and I'm going on trips. We have little wars with certain people and this and that. You know, I get in shootouts. I get in stabbings. A lot of shit happened. I was reckless. I became real reckless. Xanax makes you into another different person. So
Absolutely.
I was throwing down the stop signs and traffic lights in Walmarts and H-E-B and Stripes. Everywhere it was just a fight.
Right.
Yeah, I couldn't handle nobody disrespecting me. You know, to us, death is better than dishonor.
Right.
Like I wouldn't, por mis huevos, nobody was gonna disrespect me. So we keep going, and I'm still over here trying to deal with this and that. By then, 2 of my homies told me that the vatos that were dealing with me, that they wanted to work with them too. They had already broken the code. They were supposed to ask me first, and I would have talked to my homies. But they skipped over me, and they're over here in secret and shit. So they came and told me, and they used to call me Creeper in the streets. He's like, hey, Creeper, these vatos, they said if we want to work with them, and, you know, we see you making money, well, you know, basically I'm asking you permission. Can you let us work so we can make some money too? If not, it's no big deal, you know, we keep working with you. I told him, hey, carnal, if you're going to do it, just make sure you're ready for it, because, you know, these vatos, they are some hardcore shit.
Right.
So, in the way we were always strapped. I was always about guns and gunslinging. I was... You know, I was about it. That's what it was. It's street life.
Right.
So, you know, we kept operating. The vatos took off. They started their own thing, and then it happened with them, where somebody kicked in the door. You know, they call it tumba puertas. Le tumbaron la puerta. They kicked in the door, and you know, they had them on the floor with, you know, people dressed in military, SWAT team and all that shit. They came and, you know, beat the shit out of them, had them on the floor in gunpoint while they were unloading their whole apartment with everything. And the vatos called me and they told me, and they had some shit that they had to handle amongst them. But to me, you know, I was like, well, it's time to get out. You know, and the money was good, everything was good, but the Lord was already touching me, moving me in some way, where, you know, I would see myself in the mirror and see the man that I had become. And I didn't want my children to be like this. I wanted that curse to be broken with me.
Right.
I wanted to be better than my father, but, you know, I didn't know how to be a real man.
Right.
You know, no matter how many people you fight, you shoot at, or whatever you do, if it's not of the UPK, if it's not in the Bible, you're not a real man.
Right.
Only the Bible teaches you how to be a real man. That's something I had to learn. So I look at myself in the mirror with disgust, and a lot of homies died, overdose, car crashes. Some of them got locked up, and some of them committed suicide. I lost a lot of homies. I'm 41 years old. I'm old school. So I lost a lot of homies, and, you know, shit was already getting to me. It was too much. By then, I already had maybe a year and a half, almost 2 years of popping 11 Xanax a day, and cocaine, and weed, and smoking that K2, that incense. And
K2, that ain't no joke.
And I would still drive like that. I would still operate. I had insomnia to the fullest.
So you say you doing Xannies, blowing, smoking weed, and K2, and got and sniffing lots of cocaine.
Sir.
Yo, you was out of here.
Sir, and I went like that hardcore since my uncle died. It was maybe almost 2 years. And I talked to the vatos, and I told them, hey, you know what? It's time for me to get out. He said, well, what you mean, Creeper? We're doing good. Yeah, but I already knew what had happened with my homies, how they rolled up on him and shit. So I told him, but that's it, homeboy. Hey, my uncle died, and I haven't been the same. I got to get my shit together.
Right.
So the vato said, hey, well, you know what? Hey, we've been making good money. Salaki, sir. Hey, can you give me a water, Karna Baba Kisha? So the vato said, hey, well, you know what? You've been good. Everything's been good. Everything's been checking out. All right, Creeper, we'll let it go like that. And if you ever need to work again, you hit us up. So, you know, it took him like maybe 2-3 weeks to get everything out. And again, a lot of homies took off in different directions because now I was my spirit was on fire. I don't want.
Yeah.
I just wanted to hurt people, and
Right.
you know, it came to the point where all I wanted to do was fight and do some dirt and just
Right.
go on some bullshit. And I remember one of them weekends, my rib used to leave on the weekends. That would be the time I would operate the most. And I was in a table, and I had little mountain of cocaine. And I was taking shots, bucanas, raza. We drink bucanas, So I was fucking drinking bucanas and taking some pinche pase, taking some bumps and smoking, and I'm all Xanax out. And I put a bullet in my revolver, and Russia really, I put it down. So yeah, I'm like, fuck it, I don't want my kids to see me like this. I become a fucking junkie.
Right.
What the fuck am I doing?
Right.
And even then I would still work out and I would still do everything, but I couldn't get any satisfaction on anything I did in my life anymore.
Right.
It was over. I thought I just needed to restart or to die. That was it. So I made a long ass line out of one, and I poured myself a drink. I took 4 shots, boom, 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 boom. And then I snorted that whole line with a big old straw I had. And then I took 2 big hits of the blunt and took a hit of the kush from a pipe. I grabbed the gun and click. And I'm like, they didn't go off. So I'm like, I get angry. And now I'm yelling at God, like, what do you want from me? You won't let me live, but you won't let me die. So with tears in my face, and I'm over here like, fuck. So I just kept going the whole night, just on everything, just reevaluating everything, see if I could do anything for me. So then that's when it was time. I decided to go to my sister's house in Michigan and try to kick it cold turkey. So I went over there, I flew over there. By day number 5 of no sleeping, I was already hallucinating and talking to my dead homies. She lived in a wooded area, so I was at 3 or 4 in the morning sitting outside, surrounded by dead homies, and I'm having a conversation with them like if they're all there. And I'm over here like, damn, carnal, you shouldn't have died like that. They said like fuck. And then I'm talking to everybody now, and I'm smoking with them. When that night passed, I told my sister, take me to the hospital, because that's it. I don't know what's gonna happen with me anymore. Go to the hospital. And I tell the doctor everything that I've done, everything, all them drugs I was hooked on. He told me a lot of people die for a lot less of what you've done.
Right.
I don't know how you're still alive.
Right.
So I said, look, I just need to go to sleep so I can get better. I haven't slept and I'm already talking to dead people and all that.
Right.
So he said, I got a shot for you that's gonna put you to sleep. We're gonna keep you for a few nights and we'll put you to sleep. I told him, make sure that it's something strong because I have a high tolerance for everything.
Right.
The guy said, this is something that will put a horse to sleep. So he gave me the shot, but it didn't put me to sleep. It put me on automatic pilot. And then it put me where everybody was withdrawing from drugs. All the people that were out there that were doing heroin, I guess it's like a rehab that they have.
Right.
So I was there 3 days, and all I remember was throwing down with people. And the Lord would made it where I would just come back just to fight. I'm short. I'm 5'6". I'm a short Mexican.
Right.
But so a lot of people they want to mess with us. That's all it is. Everybody want to mess with the short Mexican. That's always I did like that.
Yeah.
So I would be throwing down. Now remember, I would just come back to my body, and I got this big old white guy trying to, hey, what's up? I'm like, what? And you just start going at it. I'm over here. I remember flying arm bars, flying kicks, rear naked chokes, ankle locks, double leg takedowns. I was doing all kinds of shit on these people. And then once they were gonna, I think on my 3rd day, they called my sister and said that it was over for me. They had given me 6 shots and it wouldn't put me to sleep.
That's crazy.
And I was just the whole night just walking around and picking fights and just crazy. I wasn't there. But the Lord was still with me those days because he protected me from the hands of the heathens, from catching an ass whooping from these people. I could still fight.
Right.
So on the 3rd day, that same day that they called my sister, that's when the Lord had mercy on me and put me to sleep. He said, all right, you know what? They said I walked into my room.
So you went to sleep on the 3rd day?
Concert, when they were about to give up on me. They were going to call the cops and take me to a crazy house and put me on a vest and all that. So, but they said that by myself, I just walked to my room and fell asleep. So I wake up in the hospital. I didn't even know what the fuck was going on. And I'm over here like, I pushed for assistance. The nurse, and I'm like, hey, where am I? What the fuck is going on? What happened? A nurse came over here and explained to me everything that I had done. everything that happened, how many people I hurt. I was doing some crazy ass shit. So I told them I don't remember anything. It's y'all's fault. So I blamed it on them. You know, it's your fault. I told y'all that I wasn't gonna go to sleep.
Right.
So I don't know what the fuck y'all gave me.
Right.
So then that's when it happened. They kept me there 2 days, and then they let me go just to make sure I wasn't crazy. So then I remember we went to my sister's house, and you know, they say every Israelite, if you're black, Hispanic, and Native, you have a broken ass car in your backyard that later becomes a smoking headquarters.
Right.
And I was in there just smoking blunt after blunt after blunt, and just thinking about my whole life. You know, there's a lot of things I can't say, and a lot of other things that happen I can't really talk about. It. But so I'm over here smoking, and I start talking to God like, what is it that you want from me? Why can't you just let me die? Like what do you want from me? You won't even talk to me. Are you even alive? So then I yell like, where the, you know, I said, where the fuck are you? You know, where the fuck are you, God? Like, I'm right here. Like, show me how to live. Show me something. And you know, I was tearing up, but I just kept smoking. So then that night, I went over there to my living room, to my sister's living room, and tried to go to sleep and shit. And that's when it happened. I fell asleep, and then I hear a voice, awake. You know, like awake. Arise or something like that. This voice was not talking in English, and it was not talking in Spanish, but I was understanding what the voice was saying. So, you know, I start floating up in the living room, and I turn around and I look, and I see my body right there in the couch where I had slept, and I turn around and there's this big, huge light. I can't even see it. It's too bright, and it hurts. I couldn't even see from where it began to where it ended. I thought I was dead. So I said, what is this? Am I dead? And the angel said, and I know it's an angel because I got counsel on it with a general. And I said, what is this? Am I dead? What's happening? The angel said, you asked the Lord thy God to show you who you are. Now come with me. So from there, I started floating up. I flew through the roof. I see the house, and I ended up in this place with some big old golden gates. Big. I was tiny. And these gates were huge. And I asked the angel, what is this? Where am I? The angel said, you're in a place called Shemayim. Now, I don't know anything about no Lashawan Kadash. I don't know anything about our language. But that's what the angel referred to it as it was. Later on, you know, in the Lord's Prayer, Abanawa Shabbat Shemayim, Kadash Hayashamka. Our Father who art thou in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yeah, so I was in, according to the general, I was in the third heaven. So then the angel said, walk with me. So the gates open, and I'm walking through a big old bridge. And then I hear explosions and screamings and cryings. And I look over the bridge, and I'm seeing buildings burning from as far as I could see. People dying, explosions, all kinds of crazy cataclysmic shit, and I'm tripping out like, what is this? I tell the angel, because it's of course it's earth, but I'm seeing it from up there, and I'm seeing everything, just cars, everything is just being destroyed, fire consuming everything, people screaming, people trying to save their kids, but they still get burned. And I asked the angel, what is this? And the angel tells me, Babylon has fallen. So I'm over here like, what does that mean? The angel says, Sodom and Gomorrah, it is done. It has been judged. I still don't know what's going on. You know, I'm talking Avato from the streets. I went to Christian church. Christianity failed me. I went to Catholic church. It failed me as well. I even tried to go to the Muslim place one time while I was all Xanax. I fell asleep in the carpet while they were talking. I don't know what. They thought I was praying, but I was asleep. I was fucked up. I was out of it. And so, you know, and now all of this is happening. So, and the angel tells me this, so I don't ask him any more questions, because I'm not really understanding everything that's going on. But I'm there looking over the bridge for many, many hours, people dying, and all kinds of different people. It's not like just the same person dying. I'm seeing some hardcore shit, hardcore. All of a sudden, an explosion, big explosion happens, and it reaches the heavens where I'm at. So now the fire is all around me, but I'm not being consumed, and I'm tripping out like, what's up? Like, what's happening? You know, am I dying and going to hell? You know, I didn't know what hell was back then. So the fire is around me, and then it explodes, a big explosion. Now I'm somewhere in the forest. You know, it's like the Yucatan. It's the woods and all that. And I'm walking and I'm looking everywhere.
Yucatan Peninsula, that's down by Guatemala and Belize and all that, right?
Canal Concert down there, like where the Spaniards came and conquered and all that, by Mexico, Distrito Federal and all that. So now I'm in that zone, and I'm seeing horses with metal armor coming all over, and I'm seeing indigenous people running. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm tripping out, because these horses and people with armor, and they got little musket-like guns or something, and they're shooting, and they catch up to the indigenous people, and they start slaughtering them. I'm seeing people getting their heads chopped off, their nuts chopped off, dismembered, being tied in a pole and burned alive. I'm seeing all kinds of crazy shit. I try to help one of them, but I go right through him. I'm in the dream, but I'm not a part of it. I'm just watching. There's nothing I can do to help. They were murdering children, women, old people. Man, they didn't have no mercy. And that took me back to a dream I used to have from when I was around 3 to 6 years old. It would never fail. At least 2 times a month, I would have a dream that I was an Indian. I was a mighty warrior. I had a bow, and I had a big old, it looked some sort like an axe and all. Like an axe, some shit like that. And I had a woman, and I had 2 children in that dream, and we were walking in a place like that where there was a lot of trees, and we hear horses. And in that dream, I was a child, but this was my family. I had 2 kids and a wife, and we went to the woods, but the people, they saw us, and I came out, and you know, I tried to fight them, but they shot me in the stomach. And in my dream, you know, I was halfway dead, and I saw how they murdered my 2 sons, and how they murdered my wife. They raped her and they murdered her. I saw, and there was nothing I could do to move. Then they left us there. You know, they thought I was dead, but once they left, I tried to slither to the body of my 2 children and my wife, and I got them together, and I laid on top of them crying, waiting for death myself. And that's when my grandma would always wake me up. I would wake up crying hardcore. I was a little kid, you know, from the age of 3 to the age of 6, it never failed. At least once or twice a month that I would have that. So that dream reminded me of that dream, and now I'm thinking, these are my people. These are my indigenous ancestors getting slaughtered. This is a Spanish conquest, a Spaniard conquest and shit. So now I'm just watching, and there's nothing I can do, and everything is really, really hurting me to the fullest. And you know, I get on my knees, and I grab my head like this, and I just start saying, no more. That's it, no more. So then another explosion of fire happens. And again, I'm surrounded by fire, but I'm not being consumed. And there's a third part of that dream, but I don't really talk about it. We might save that one for next time, carnal. But after that third part of the dream, again, an explosion of fire everywhere out of one. I'm like in the middle of a tornado, a hurricane of fire, and the angel appears. And then I tell him, why are you showing me this? What is this? And he says, you asked the Lord thy God to show you who you are. You are an Israelite, but you must study to show yourself approved, for your job is plentiful. You must study and find the truth, for your job is a great one. So I said, and who is this God that I may know his name? And that hurricane of fire, it goes to the sky out of one. So now there's fire all over the sky. I'm watching and I'm looking, and in fire in the heavens, it spells out Yahweh in English, Yahweh. And I said, what is that? What does that say? The angel says, his name is Yahweh. And I said, well, what is the name of Christ so I may know his name? And then on the bottom of Yahweh in fire, it spells out Yahweh Shai. And then the angel tells me, again, you must study to show yourself approved. You have much work to do. It is time to go. So from there, all of a sudden we just started floating down. The angel's huge, so he's not moving. It's just me going up and down and all that. So I'm coming back down, and you know, I see the building, the roof, my sister's crib, and I go through it, and I see my body on the floor, and it's spinning around and like crazy. It's just rolling around like crazy. I made a big mess, and I'm watching my body move around like that, and I tell the angel, what's happening to me? What is this? The angel says, fear not, for the flesh cannot contain the power of the Lord. Just go to it. So, you know, I did as I was told. I floated down, and as soon as I sat on my body, you know, my spirit went into it, and you know, and it stopped moving. So then I just laid back. As soon as I laid back, my eyes opened, and I was in the same spot in the living room where I had seen myself in the dream. The whole mess was there. And then I look at the clock, and I've only been asleep for like 15 minutes.
Damn.
But in that dream, I was there for months. And then that's how it began, my search for the truth, sir. And it took me a while, but once I saw a video of Captain Yashshakar, hey,
Big shout out Captain Yashshakar.
Captain Yashshakar, I don't want the white man. It's the goddamn devil. That hit me hard. Hit me hard. And everything, all my questions, everything were answered. On why we live like this, why we hate each other, why this, why that. You know, and everything is answered. That's how I got into UPK. You know, I called out there's a Captain Laban in Detroit, and you know, and the rest is history. They showed me a lot of brotherhood. They housed me, they clothed me, they fed me. So they showed me the real brotherhood that I was always searching for, but could never find. And here I am, out of one.
That's crazy. So you called the school in Detroit, and you got to the truth in Detroit.
Kind of don't. But I was from here, so I only stayed there a few months and came back over here to Texas, and here we are, out of one.
Yo, that's crazy. So all right, so then when you get to the truth and you see, I mean, it's a bunch of niggas there, right? What was that like? Did they tell you was a brother, or what was the meeting like? You know what I'm saying?
I don't want it. It's hard for brothers, you know, for Hispanics to accept this, because we've been at war with negros. You know, that's what we call it, negros, mayates, and all that. We've been at war with Judah all our lives. You know, in prison, in the streets, and there's just certain ways that we handle ourselves differently. That you know, we think we're very different, but we're actually very alike. We're family. So it's real hard when brothers speak to you a certain way and you're not used to being spoken to. I was a trooper for like 3.5 years, out of one, because I couldn't accept nobody talking to me in some sort of way or giving me orders, and I was like, why I gotta call this nigga out of one if I know I can fuck him up? You know, that's the spirit I had. I had like fuck this, hey, who the fuck is gonna fuck with me? Like I always felt threatened because they saw me short, but you know, I'm a pit bull, you know, like I'm down, you know. For us, again, it's death before dishonor. Es muerte antes que me deshonren. And that's how we did it. But you know, I learned it was the spirit of the brotherhood. In Israel, we're military. It's militant. You know, once I got to Texas, I learned how to fall in line better. And that's how it was, out of one. It's just that part. That's why it's real important how we conduct with each other. When you see a brother from the streets, you know, we have to know how to talk to each other like brothers. You know, some brothers are just, you know, like me, I got PTSD. I still have nightmares of all the shit I did. And I have nightmares of getting murdered. I have nightmares people kicking in my door and killing my family and then putting a bullet in my head. I wake up right before I die. I got all this PTSD from the streets, so everything, it activates me. I get activated right away. And, you know, so.
But you know, that's your spirit, man. The Lord said he's gonna be like the fury in the net. I mean, like bulls in the net. But that's the fury of the Lord. You feel what I'm saying? That fury that you got inside of you, the Lord put that in you. You feel what I'm saying? And that is that's what we need to conquer the earth. You know what I'm saying? So that what you got is glorious, man. That's the Lord's spirit. I mean, you know, the Lord is a man of war. You know what I mean? So that's the spirit that you gonna need. And you know, Isupk in the Bible was a great warrior. A great warrior. You feel what I'm saying? We can talk about that after the cameras go off. You feel what I'm saying? But listen, man, your spirit is absolutely perfect in the ISUPK. You feel what I'm saying? And it's the spirit that we need to make this joint thrive, especially Mexico and Central America. You feel what I'm saying? Which is your zone. You feel what I'm saying? So how was it when you got that zone over Mexico and all that? What was that like?
So we went to Acuña to help out our brothers over there, Haitians. We fed them and clothed them, and once we went over there, You know, it was crazy out on because a lot of brothers were tripping out.
Right.
We got there at nighttime. They wouldn't let us cross through Acuña, which is Del Rio. So we had to cross through Eagle Pass, Texas, which is right there in Piedras Negras, and drive through Mexico an hour to get to Acuña. So, you know, Mexico is a cartel zone level to the fullest, especially along the border. And so it was crazy out of one because there was brothers that was, you know, trying flipping out. I had to tell him, hey, look, Salakia, and there's men over me. I said, Salakia, I don't want him, but hey, I came here ready to die.
Right.
Before I got in that truck and started driving, I kissed my wife's goodbye like I wasn't gonna see him again. I kissed my children, I saluted them, and I told them that the Lord was gonna make everything okay, because we know what's going on. You know, if you're from the border areas, you know, we know it's a 50-50 chance of us not coming back or not.
Right.
You know, so I went over there ready to die. I went through a lot of shit. I would have died over some stupid shit because somebody was looking at me funny.
Right,
you know,
right.
like, why wouldn't I die for the work of the Lord?
Right.
So I told the brothers that little words of encouragement, and I told them, you know, right now, a gun is not going to help you. A knife is not going to help you. You think these brothers don't got fucking ARs and they got grenade, they got all kinds of shit.
Right.
They got, what do you call that shit? What do you call those big Humvees? What do you call that shit? Military, and with a big old gun on the top and shit. Like, yeah, you shoot at somebody with something like that, it's gonna explode you with that shit. You know, like, there's nothing we can do. So I told him, hey, this is a valley of the shadow of death, and only the Lord can save you. Ain't no man-made weapon here is gonna save us. You can have whatever you want, but if you shoot at them, you're gonna be the last one to die, and it's gonna be worse for you. Now me going, knowing there was another Isupk, right, but he was an old school, and me the youngest one, and me speaking, the thing that would have happened is they would have murdered me in front of all the brothers and told them to never come back. That's what they do. They'll put you on your knees and they cut your head. You know, and they would have thrown it in my head and told them don't come back. So I knew it was a lot on me, but we had to do it. So I told them, y'all have to let me speak. Like, your English is no good here. These are my people. Let me do this. I know I'm just a 50, but let me do it because y'all can't do it. And so you know, everybody agreed, and we went through it. I don't want. Everything went smooth. I mean, we almost got shot by the military over there, by the police. They came out. We were trying to pump some gas. They came out of their cars with ARs, like posted up. I don't want, like, hardcore. Like, these brothers were ready to kill us. We were out in garments. I had to go over there and defuse it. I told them, hey, hold up. We're priests and prophets of the Lord. We didn't come here to invade territory, to sell drugs, to do anything. You know, we come here with a van full of food, and we came here to help people. That's it.
Right.
Don't mistake us for cartels or for anything.
Right.
We didn't come for that. We're men of the Lord.
Right.
So, you know, I had to defuse that situation, and everything went smooth out of one. They told us how to get there.
Most High Christ. I heard a story. The one brother said when they got to the destination, I guess y'all was riding with cartel. So when y'all got to the destination, the brother said he came to you and was like, hey, Yashshakar, tell your people I said Thawada. And you was like, those wasn't my people.
Yeah, I don't want. Hey, we see a lot of shit in Mexico, sir, and those really weren't my people.
Yo, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't want. I'm telling you, sir.
That's crazy.
That's how it goes. I don't want. And you know, this is a home of the truth. This is the only place you'll find brotherhood. You know, we belong here. Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives, we're family, familia. And this is the only place where you'll find peace for you and your family. So todos los carnales, todos los vatos de los barrios son mis. Aquí es donde deben de estar ese. Aquí es donde pertenecemos todos. Somos familia, homes. Somos familia ese.
Alright, man. Most High Christ. You got anything else you want to tell our 2 subscribers and our 3 viewers out there?
Hey, like the link, subscribe, and this is the truth. Support the truth. Other than that, orale.
We gotta represent for the culture. Niggas coming out here with all this funny color hair, skinny jeans and shit. Fuck that, nigga. We taking it back to the fringes. Motherfucking Spikes, nigga, representing for the Hebrews. Angry Black Man Media, nigga. We getting it there. We bringing that real shit back.
I match my guns with the sneaks. That's my fashion week. Go ask the streets. Dog, we got massive beef. We pass elite. Play this on blast, repeat. Let it go worldwide. Let the masses peep. I don't care if she thick or her ass petite. She want war with the D. She a casualty. Long as she don't got no limits like I'm Master P. Fuck fucking bitches. Boom, dick style.
No, do that shit over again. I had one last night.
You know I'm squeezing on triggers, my bullets hitting you won't heal it with stitches. You don't want that, you don't wanna get your skull cracked. Better tighten up when a nigga tell you fall back. Titties on the drum, you a sucker, give you all that. When you stand tall at, that's where you gon' fall at.